This video is sponsored by the Williams Hussey Machine Company. Williams Hussey makes a molder planer. It's a machine that looks and works a lot like a thickness planer, except you're making molding. And it's really pretty cool and satisfying because on one end you feed in the square stock and out the other end comes a beautiful piece of molding. I've had my molder planer now for about 20 years. If you want to see what a new one looks like, click on the link on the screen. Click on this link right here. If you want to go to their website, I'll have a link in the description. Let's take a closer look at my molder planer, and then I want to come back here, talk a little bit about this trim design. This is what I'm working on right now for my sunroom. And then I want to talk about this piece of custom molding that a client and I designed maybe 10 years ago. This is the molding knife that I just used to make the casing for the project that I'm working on. And basically, you send the molding through the sled, the molding is cut, comes out the other side, and you have your molding. If you want to make your own custom molding, you make a scale drawing of the blade, and you send it to Williams & Hussey, and maybe a week or two later, they send you the blade, and you're ready to make the molding. Now I want to tell you how the molding was designed. When I first met with the client, who's kind of a DIY type of a guy, even though he's an attorney, he had designed this model made of 1/4-inch material, basically just stacking the material up to create this cascading molding. And I thought, yeah, that looks pretty nice. I didn't really like this 90-degree angle here, so we worked on it a little bit and then came up with this blade that has our knife, I think you call these knives, that has a 5-degree angle, and then we use this knife to make the molding. All the molding on this board was made with the one knife, and I keep this board for the client because I'm periodically making him molding as he makes changes in his home. We used the larger or the wider molding for the baseboard. The medium size was used on the doors, and the smaller casing was used on the windows. And for all the casing, the door and window casing, we used a back band, which is just a simple 1-by attached to the side of the casing. Right here, I'm designing the project that I'm working on now. And I've talked about this once before, a long time in a video, and I'm kind of like a broken record. But when you're designing your trim, you always want to think of how your trim will end. You want it to dead end. And that's where the back band really comes in handy. So I'm going to bring the camera over and show you how everything just dead ends into this back band. The back of the casing is 3/4 of an inch deep. And then we have the back band, and that is 1 1/4 inches deep. Then we have our baseboard molding, which is 3/4 of an inch. And the last thing that we're going to attach at the end of the project will be the shoe molding. The shoe molding is just a little bit heavier in this case than 3/8, but anything 1/2 inch or less will dead end nicely into the back band. And then we have the picture frame or the flat panel system. I'm using 1/2 inch material for the flat panel system. And then you have the bottom of the chair rail. That's 3/4 of an inch. And then the top of the chair rail, and that's 1 1/8 inches. And I'm not quite sure yet what I'm using in these panels. This is just for the video, but I may end up using 3/8 quarter round, and I'll picture frame the inside of each one of these flat panels. So that's one of those simple things that just makes a lot of sense. You always want to think, how will the trim end? And best case scenario, it will dead end. I hope you found this video helpful, and I really want to thank Williams & Hussey for sponsoring this video. To learn more about them, click on the link to their website in the description, or to see one of their videos, click on the link right here. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you soon.